production design by Kendall Music. She picked out all those colors, and she built my cloud tanks, and she did all that good stuff that I don't have the patience for.
Hi, I'm Kendall Music, did production design for Joey Shanks.
I also apologize, even though I love those credits. Those are for the Kickstarter backers, so that's like a minute longer. It's still pretty good, cool visuals, I think.
I agree. So you've made this really amazing experimental science fiction film, which is pretty unusual. And are you an aficionado of both? And why did you decide to combine those two kind of genres?
Well, I've taken a few like Maya 3D classes, and I've kind of found out I'm pretty terrible at that kind of stuff. I've tried to do, you know, as much as I can with computers, and I've done lots of live action, but I don't have any good actors with me, so it's nice to use just to be able to be me and her and just a couple other people and just kind of create stuff. And I love science fiction. And we actually were trying to parallel it a little bit to kind of the Greek mythology kind of story of Icarus, if that makes any sense. I don't know if there are any parallels there. And also just to kind of have ideas on how we're going to film certain things and just see what would happen. So that was kind of the premise.
What made you decide to keep it as abstract as possible, even though there is like narrative arc, but it is quite an abstracted story, which is, you know, quite beautiful. It allows you to kind of free associate on these beautiful images. What made you kind of go down that path?
Well, we even tried to like create a spaceship that looked a little more high-tech with lights and blinking lights and fiber optics and so forth, and it really didn't fit kind of the organic elements that we were already creating. So it kind of looked best just to kind of just go with what we had, create kind of a little bit of a kind of a microorganism to start out with, and just kind of let the effects kind of, you know, speak for themselves. Just because sometimes I would try to composite something on top of the effect, and I just thought it looked better just by itself without tampering with it. So.
Any questions?
Yes.
Can you explain some of the methods you used to achieve the?
No. I'm joking. Well, any ones in particular?
I don't know. They all look great.
Sure. Well, there's one, and we have a web series called Shanks Effects. It's on PBS. I don't know if any of you guys watch. We never get really good hits, but one of them was we got 100,000 hits showing how to make a cloud tank. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a cloud tank, but it's you kind of tell. She made them all.
Okay, so cloud tank, you can basically get a fish tank of any size. Salt water is heavier than fresh water, so we layer the two gently, and then decide what we want to shoot into it.
Yeah, so it's pretty much like what you do is you put 1/2 or probably two fists salt water on the bottom, and you slowly pour fresh water on top, so it creates kind of a different atmosphere. So you can just shoot ink, and it'll just layer right in the middle. So a lot of that stuff you saw was that some of the fire elements were steel wool, burning that and putting on a vintage metal fan, and spinning and shooting off sparks. We had fun with laser machines. We would go to toy shops and just buy every little light, like these little lights right here, which we brought. Like we pretty much filmed like the whole film with like little battery operated lights. Like, we didn't use any movie lights for the most part. So it was a pretty weird process, but it was quite a bit of fun.
Did y'all begin with just like the visuals and then create the music, or did you start with some of the music and then layer visuals to match it? Or?
Yeah, it was kind of an ongoing process, because I actually had a couple of really close friends that are composers, and they were kind of in a free-for-all battle to see who could come up with like the music that fit the most. So we would create kind of a lot of these effects and send it to them and see what kind of music they would come up with. So it was definitely an ongoing process, and yeah, it was just we knew we wanted like this deadline, like the Slamdance deadline was like kind of our cutoff for the most part. So we knew we pretty much wanted to have everything wrapped up around then. We hope, but who knows? Maybe we'll get antsy and we'll build another cloud tank and shoot some more liquids into water, which is always fun.
I loved it. Was there any other like practical effects artists that you were looking at the time?
Well, I'm a big Douglas Trumbull guy who did the effects for like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I think he helped out a little bit with like Close Encounters, even like Star Trek, like the original, and then the Wrath of Khan.
What's the name of that dude that did?
The Fountain as well. That was something.
Yeah, the Fountain.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that popped into my head. But also did he also do Tree of Life?
Yeah,
Tree of
Life
was also practical, right?
I wasn't gonna bring it up, but if someone brought it up, I would talk about it.
I mean, I just.
Tree of Life was a life-changing moment for myself.
I just.
And how many people have seen Tree of Life? Awesome, you guys rule. So that sequence is like the greatest 20 minutes in all of cinema. Like I really, like I said, it was a life-changing experience. And she, pretty much any time we have someone over, I always ask them, have you seen this sequence? And if they say no, we have to stop everything, and we're watching it right now. And she just rolls her eyes, and she puts up with it. She's great. So yeah, that was a huge one as well. So yeah.
One more question.
Thanks, guys. All right, before